I just filmed this entire video and decided I waffled on way too quickly and missed out most of the important details. So I'm going to film it again, but anyway.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope that you're all good and well. Today's video is going to be my thyroid story, the journey, the symptoms, all that. I don't know if this is going to be a complete waste and boring video, but I've seen a few of these online and I just thought I would do one because these would have been really helpful for me like 4 years ago when I first had my issue with my thyroid. And I feel like thyroid is a really, what's the word, like people don't take it as serious unless you've got an issue. I feel like people don't take your thyroid as serious as you should. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, before I had my thyroid issue I didn't even know exactly where it was, which is really bad, like really bad. But I didn't think anything, like, you don't realise how much your thyroid controls your body and how much it can affect you if it's like not good. So yeah, I thought I would do a video on this, just if there's anyone else out there that's got thyroid issues, who's going through it at the moment. So yeah, I'll start with my symptoms. So for me it started back in 2019, and thinking back to it now, I probably had it before this, but it just wasn't as bad. Like, all of my symptoms came out in 2019. And my first symptom was actually my heart. So my heart rate was way too fast. I remember feeling my heart literally feeling like it was gonna like come out of my chest because it was beating so fast, and I stupidly didn't do anything about it. Like, if there's anything about your heart that's different, you need to go and get it checked. Why I didn't, I'm just an idiot. But I remember maybe a few weeks after that, my mum, I must have been like touching my mum on the sofa, like leaning in on her, and I remember her saying to me, like, I can feel your heart rate, like your heart rate is beating really, really fast. And I wasn't doing anything, and I remember thinking, like, right, someone else has mentioned my heart, like there's definitely something up. So I think this was in the June time. I went to the doctors, had an ECG. She wasn't the most helpful. Like, I didn't have anything else to tell her other than the fact that my heart was too fast, but she didn't really help me afterwards. So my heart rate was coming up at about 110 to 120 beats, which obviously is way too fast. Your heart should ideally be between 60. I think it's 60. I can't remember what it is, but I know if it's over 100, obviously it's really bad, and if it's under a certain number, it's obviously not good. But yeah, mine was in the hundreds, and it had felt like it was like that for months and months and months. But because it wasn't, what's the word, is it irregular? No, what's the thing where your heart kind of like skips a beat, like it, like, I can't think of the bloody word, but because it wasn't like that, she wasn't too worried, which is fair enough. But she didn't say to me like, maybe you should book an appointment to talk to your doctor, bloody blah. So I kind of just left it and assumed that I was fine. Yeah, anyway, a few weeks went on holiday, was fine, came back off holiday, literally went to work for like a week, and I remember waking up with the worst sore throat that I've ever had, and it lasted about a week, and it was so bad to the point where I actually had to take time off work because I just couldn't, like, I don't think I could even speak or anything. It was like swallowing glass. So yeah, I took time off for that. It went back to work, and I remember honestly about a week later I got another one, and it was just as painful. Like, it was really painful, and this time I had like lumps all over my neck. I don't think I have a picture, which is annoying, and they weren't massive lumps, but I could definitely feel lumps in my throat. So they were like the first proper symptoms I had where I knew that something was really not right. So I think I went to the doctors at this point, and he was obviously concerned about the fact that I had lumps in my neck, because obviously if you find any lumps in your neck, like, you should go and get things like that checked. I'm trying to think what order it happened. It was so long ago and I had so many appointments I can't quite remember, but I'm sure, like, no one diagnosed me with a thyroid issue for months. I don't know why no one tested it first. I mean, I didn't even think of it, but I feel like you should just test for that anyway, but that's a whole nother story. So So yeah, by the time I'd had all these blood tests and all sorts, I'd got progressively worse, and it was still summer at this point, and it was really hot outside. And I remember walking to Tesco with my mum, and I don't know if this is TMI, but I was literally sick everywhere because my body just overheated too much. And I remember that I would just constantly overheat even when I was doing nothing, and normally it wouldn't affect me, and I would just keep being sick. So then I also couldn't keep my food down. I just wasn't eating anything because the thought of food made me feel really sick, and I would bring it up if I ate anything. I think I remember only being able to eat chicken nuggets from McDonald's because they're dry, and crackers. So yeah, at this point I was losing a lot of weight. I think I lost in the end about 2 stone in about a month and a half, which obviously is quite a lot in quite a short time. Again, if I can find pictures of like before and after, I'll insert them here. So yeah, I was still having tests done at this point, and I remember my mum used to go swimming with this lady that she met there, and my mum was telling her about my symptoms and stuff. And she said, like, why doesn't she get her thyroid tested? It sounds like something that I had when I was younger. So then my mum was like, let's go to the doctors, get your thyroid tested. So I had that done. And obviously was waiting results back for that. Again, throughout this time I actually had to quit my job because I just couldn't get out of bed. I've never been that poorly in my entire life. Like, you don't even realise that your thyroid can make you feel that way, but I just couldn't get out of bed, and I was constantly having to be off because I just felt so unwell that in the end I was like, do you know what, I don't know when this is going to get better. So I just left. So yeah, I just left, never went back. Other like little symptoms that aren't that big of a deal, but they did really affect me, and they still affect me now, was my hair. My hair's been really affected by my thyroid, and it used to be awful. Again, don't know if I have a picture, I'll try and find one. But my hair was just like matted, there were knots everywhere. My dad sat there for hours getting these knots out of my hair for them to just go back in the next day because my hair was in such bad dry condition. So yeah, all of this was going on, felt like shite, didn't go out, didn't leave the house. Even the thought of drinking alcohol, I remember, because this was when I used to go out quite a lot, I didn't go out for months because the thought of doing anything like that made me feel so unwell. So yeah, they finally got my results back, and then it came out that I have an overactive thyroid and Graves' disease, which maybe I'll leave a description here of Graves' disease, or you can look it up. Yeah, it's something you can get when you have an overactive thyroid. So then they put me on medication for my heart, because that was the main thing that they were worried about. Obviously there's only so long your heart can beat that fast for. So I then went on beta blockers. I think it was around October, November time at this point. Went on beta blockers, was on them for quite a long time, and quite a high dosage. But that calmed my heart down quite quickly. And then finally, when the thyroid came about, I got put on carbamazole, which is the medication that I'm still on now. And as soon as I started taking those tablets, it was like something in me just switched, and I felt completely fine. I still had like tiredness, my hair was still crap, I was still underweight, but other than that I felt absolutely fine. Like, I felt like I'd gone completely back to my old self. It was really weird. It was within literally like 2 days, like my sore throat stopped coming. I just felt so much better. So then obviously roll around to 2020, COVID happened. I wasn't obviously like a massive priority to them, obviously, back then. So I didn't have any appointments for ages, but I felt completely fine. Was still managing to keep the weight off, but doing it healthy. My hair was getting better, I wasn't being sick, I could eat fine. All was fine until about the end of 2020. I'd say when winter came back around, and I just started putting so much weight on, like so much weight on, and I wasn't doing anything different to what I'd done before. And usually with an overactive thyroid you lose weight, you don't put it on. But yeah, I was just putting more and more weight on, and I was starting to feel like quite groggy in myself again. Nothing near like the first time, but I just didn't feel right. So then I had more doctor's appointments, and my thyroid had gone back up, which has been a massive issue that I've had over the 4 years. Is my thyroid has spiked up and down quite a lot. I almost went to an underactive thyroid and now it's shot all the way back up again to being quite bad. So yeah, over the 4 years I've basically I have blood tests every 6 weeks. I have doctor's appointments either over the phone or in person. I have them a few times a year now. My medication has changed so many times, like the dosage. And I don't feel that different now to how I have over the last few years, but my biggest issue, and I know weight's a really touchy subject, but is my weight. And it's really the thing that's bothered me the most, because like I don't eat a lot, like I don't overeat. I'm not the healthiest person in the world and I'm not the most active person in the world, but yeah, I just have to look at food and I've put like 2 stone on. So that is something that I'm really trying to work on now, is my weight, because it is quite hard for me to keep weight off, and I've joined the gym. So yeah, that's kind of the main issue that I have now, is my weight. But I did have a doctor's appointment in December, I think. Yeah, it was December, and he basically said that my thyroid has spiked up really high again, and it's basically got to the point now where he's like, he doesn't think it's going to get any better, just because it's now been 4 years. And I didn't realise this, but if you have an overactive thyroid, you can actually like cure it. I think they give you a 2-year like time frame, where if you go over 2 years and it's still not great, then the chances of you having it forever are really high. But you can apparently it can just go. Unfortunately mine didn't do that, and I think if you have an underactive thyroid you're pretty much stuck with it for life. I don't think you can get rid of it, but yeah, mine basically has stuck around now 4 years later and it's still quite bad. So my next options are radiation iodine, which is a really small dosage of radiation, but because it is radiation, I can't fly for 6 weeks after I've had it. I can't go into my office for a month because I can't be around like women, especially if anyone's like pregnant. Can't leave my house at all for 10 days, which is really not that big of a deal, but that's basically what will happen when I take this. And I haven't sorted when that will happen yet this year, because I have got holidays planned, so I need to kind of work out when I can do it and when it's going to fit in. But yeah, it's basically going to stop my thyroid working altogether. So now I'm basically, I guess, going to be underactive, so my medication will probably switch. Basically the next steps is to take radiation and kind of go from there. I might do another video after this, kind of like what it's been like to do that, what my thyroid is like now, because the symptoms are slightly different to an underactive thyroid to an over. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll do another one of these in a few months time or something. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it other than that. I just thought if there's anyone else out there with those symptoms that maybe this video would help. And like I said, I've seen a few of these on YouTube and they were actually really helpful. So yeah, I'm just trying to go to the gym just to try and get myself healthier anyway. I've gone back to being brunette. I'm not blonde anymore because I don't think that helped my hair as well, obviously the bleach. So yeah, I'm just trying to do all the things to try and help myself right now. Yeah, I might do another video, but yeah, that is basically my thyroid story. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Apologies that I'm now holding the camera. I completely forgot to mention, and I'm probably waffling on way too much now, but another symptom that I have, and I talk about it in all of my videos, I moan about my eyes so much, and you can probably see it here, but my under eyes are so puffy and they've just got so much worse since my thyroid. I was looking back at pictures from like the start of 2019, and my under eye bags are just a joke. You can, with overactive thyroid, your eyes bulge. Now I'm so lucky, and I know I shouldn't complain, but if you look up someone with an overactive thyroid and their eyes bulging, like mine don't look anything like that, and it hasn't affected the top part of my eyes, but I've definitely noticed it in the bottom bit of my eyes. So I'm really hoping that when I do this radiation that my eyes will look better, because I feel like I look completely different to how I did a few years ago. Like, I know I'm getting older, and like your face changes all the time, but I feel like I just don't, like my eyes are completely different to what they used to be. So yeah, it has also really affected my eyes. I just thought I'd shove this on the end, seeing as I moan about my eyeballs in all of my videos. Yes, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.